By the end of this video, you'll be good at switching between those chords you just learned. Remember, we want to be as lazy as possible when switching between chords, meaning that we only do as much work as we need to. Before we play through the chord matrix in the next video, I'll show you real quick how to switch between each chord the easy way. Feel free, and I'd even encourage you to pause and practice these movements as needed. The goal is to switch to the next chord in one fluid motion rather than moving individual fingers. With the new fingering for A, we really don't have much in common. Not to worry though, let's take it one finger at a time. The big movement happens with our middle finger, going from the D string clear down to the E. Practice this movement until it's easy. Then add in our third finger, moving down a string and over a fret like this. Finally, add in that first finger on the D chord, and you are good to go. Here's the full movement 3 times slow. Be sure to pause and practice this before moving on. This switch is much easier from the new way to play A. All we have to do is move our middle and ring fingers a string towards the sky and put our first finger on the first fret of G, like so. Here's this movement 3 times slow. Pause and get good at this. Now, A the new way to F sharp minor doesn't have a ton in common, but it really is just 2 simple movements. All we have to do is, as we pull our fingers away from A, we put our first finger down flat and the third finger on the 4th string in one smooth movement. Here it is 3 times slow. Pause and get good at this. It's a lot easier to switch from the first way we learned how to play A, where we bar everything. We just move down a string and throw that finger on. I use both ways to play A, sometimes even in the same song. It just depends on what is the least amount of effort and what my brain naturally does. I don't think about it a bunch, and neither should you eventually. D to E, again, not much in common other than our first finger sliding down a fret to the first fret. So we've just got a slide there. And as that happens, we have a big movement from the high E to the A string with our middle finger. Once this is easy, toss that ring finger in right under our middle finger, and we're good to go. Here it is 3 times slow. Get really good at that before we move on. All right, D to F sharp minor is pretty easy. All we have to do is flatten our first finger right where it's at from D to F sharp minor, and then add the third finger on. Here it is 3 times slow. Get good at this. All right, last switch, E to F sharp minor. All we have to do for E to F sharp minor is slide our first finger over a fret on G and then flatten it and then add our third finger in. Here's this movement 3 times slow. Get good at this before moving on. All right, you don't have to be perfect at any of these to move on, but once you feel pretty comfortable, head over to the next video and play through the chord matrix.